I'm a fiend, ain't such a thing. I am the nigga you dream in your sleep. Come to the layup. Watch when you stay up, cause I got my game up. Heat the flame up to deal with the payments, another the pain that I fix with the paste up. I'm the end of all your conversation, cause the haters got mad at the first time I came up. I scope through tough while you get a shot in the sack, cause I'm still in the pater. I've been on 3 times, every time, pussy fuck peace signs. Make a beeline for a street sign. I don't read minds, but I combine all the designs that you creep with. Fuck your street shit you add tough on your feet with.
Oh! What's going on, everyone? My name is Shaggy Nugs. Welcome to my version of Storytime. We're going to call this Campfire Talks. Okay, so the reason why I'm going to call this series Campfire Talks is because we're almost always going to be sitting around something that's being lit. So Campfire Talks plays a lot into the podcast that I eventually want to make, which is not going to be a camping podcast, but it will actually be... Here, hold on. Whew. There we go. Had to find the center of gravity. It will be about things like mental health and fun experiences. The reason why I want to talk about mental health is because I smoke for mental health. I'm a huge advocate of cannabis being great for mental health if you know how to use it. If you also have other things set in place like guidelines for yourself. People talk about smoking weed and it like ruining your brain. I just don't get it. I just don't see it. I don't think it ruins your brain necessarily. I think it helps a lot of people in a lot of ways, but you have to know what you're looking for and what you want to smoke. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the story. So, we're driving into Mexico. It's day 3 on our summer trip. We're trying to get somewhere. We're headed towards Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, the old radio and TV show town that changed their name due to the competition that they held on the radio show and the TV show. And Truth or Consequences ended up becoming the new official name of the town. So it's one of the coolest city names in all of New Mexico, at least, if not all of the United States. I'm pretty excited to get here. Whenever we pull in, it's kind of a rural area, but it's not super rural. It's more like it didn't look like slums. It was like a hill town, like a mountainside town. It's really, really, really pretty. And that's the extremely hilly, rocky side of New Mexico. That was Truth or Consequences. Oh, shoot. I'm not even sure what side of New Mexico that's on. Maybe I'll find a map or something. Anyways, I had been wanting a bong for the past day because I didn't have anything to smoke flower out of, and flower is what I primarily bought on the trip. So I was like, man, I really want to smoke. And I didn't know what I wanted to smoke. And so what I eventually decided is I was like, I'm going to buy a bong. So I went to a shop with a budget of $60 because it was going to be a travel bong, right? And I walk into the shop and I tell the guy, hey, what's going on? You know? I give him my general, like, how are you guys doing? Because it was him and his girl were running the shop. And I thought that was pretty cool. We had a really good conversation. I stayed in there for probably 20 to 30 minutes talking to the owners, figuring out what their interests in glass were, talking about some of my interests in glass. And we exchanged a lot of really positive words. And then eventually we started talking about what I wanted. And I was like, well, my budget's like $60. And he was like, well, okay, so here's the thing. What are you interested in? I pointed to a couple and he was like, these are all 100. But that's the highest my store goes. And I was like, that's really cool because all of these are the super interesting pieces of glass. And I was expecting higher price points. And he did have a zong that came down, went one way, went back the other way further, and then went back to the center and went back down. And I thought that was super cool because that wasn't just a single song, it was a double song. But it was a wide double song, so it crossed itself like that and then had a middle one like this. What a wide song. And then it went back afterwards, and it was wonderful. It was clear and gold, but primarily gold. And it was really high quality glass. I ended up picking it up and getting to feel around on it, and it was enjoyable. But I ended up getting the turquoise tower bong that you've seen in a video already. Said turquoise tower is actually sitting in the ottoman to my right, but we have this, and we have this, and I'm going to keep smoking while we talk. So as I'm standing there, here, let's turn that down. As I'm standing there in the shop talking about my budget, he was like, well, you like a lot of them that are really, really, really expensive. If you can do 70 on one of them, I'll give it to you. And so at this point, I was already talking about the turquoise tower. I was like, I really, really like this bong. It's good quality glass. It's a clover glass. So I've already got glass from the brand. And so it was a really nice offer of the guy. I even at one point was like, dude, honestly, that's kind of selling yourself short. Like, your margins must not be very high. I know this company. I buy from this company. And he was like, no, my margins are paper thin, but if it means that someone leaves the shop happy, I'm down. And I was like, whoa, this guy's great. So this was Pipes and More in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. If you're not already going to Pipes and More, you need to go to Pipes and More. Shout out to you guys. You're both amazing. Keep hustling. Keep the grind up. I'm proud of you. I'm glad to have made a couple of friends on that trip. I made a lot of friends on that trip. I talked to a lot of people. Made some good connections. It was a good time. But anyways, while we were standing there talking to them, he took a gummy, and I was like, oh, hey, are those THCA or HHC? He was like, they're THCA. And I was like, oh, sweet. Blue raspberry. And I was like, sweet, dude, give me one. And I took it. And then we continued talking, and I was okay, and everything was fine. But I forgot to tell you the THC content in that gummy. And actually, for a reason. I don't want to tell you how much THC was in it until I've told you what we did that night. So after that, we drove and got some dinner, and then we let the dogs go potty. And then we drove to the Airbnb, which was awesome. Amazing Airbnb. We stayed at the Outlaw Casita in Truth or Consequences on Airbnb, and I recommend them to everyone. Stay with them. It was a great time. We had this amazing hot tub that we used. And that hot tub has a secret. You'll find that out whenever you get there. Unless it says somewhere on Airbnb. It might. But either way, I recommend checking them out. Maybe I'll leave a link to their Airbnb page in the description. So the next thing that we did was we started filling up our hot tub. A hot tub takes a long time to fill, so we had to wait for it. What did I do? I recorded some videos. Mariah chilled in the casita. We had some good times. But it was dark, and I was starting to feel the rips that I was taking for the video. What I didn't realize is I was also starting to feel the gummy. And so the night carried on, and the hot tub filled up, and we chilled in the hot tub for a little while until the gummy really started to kick in. But this had been about an hour in the hot tub. So the gummies kicked in now, and we're looking at like 5 flat screens in my head. Like, I'm fried, blasted, kazooted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gone. Like, my Kahoot name was a question mark, dude. So I'm sitting there, And I don't know what the hell's going on. Well, I start to get nauseous. And so that's usually a sign that I've taken way too much and I'm dehydrated or I'm overheating. So I went ahead and got out of the hot tub because I know what that can do to you if you stay in for too long. I think the hot tub was over 104 degrees, which is really dangerous for a long period of time. But I don't think that's what led to the events that happened next. So I went into the bathroom and I was drinking some water and just cooling off, enjoying the cool air in the casita. And I remember sitting up against the wall and then sliding down the wall and just kind of sitting down. And it was like too much indica, if you've ever had that feeling. Like I was couch locked, but I was standing up. I just had to go to sleep right there. So I sat down against the wall and Mariah comes in. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I think so. I think I'm fine." Because I was conscious. I just couldn't stand. So I sat there and I was like, yeah, I just can't stand right now. And my legs were just asleep, completely asleep. And I've not had this happen unless I've been super stoned before. It's happened a few times. I mean, it's just like, I guess greening out. Ultimately, I think it's just greening out. But, yeah, I just sat down. Couldn't get up. Anyways, I think one of the lessons that I have learned from this is I should always make sure that I understand what I'm going to be doing for the day before I take like any sort of gummies or edibles, because the kick-in times can be a lot more than a lot of people say. The kick-in times can be a lot more than what some people say. Not only that, but sometimes you also don't know how much is already going to be in your system by the time they kick in. You might be like, that gummy did nothing to me, and then 5 hours later, you're like, whoa, I'm kind of stoned. Because, I mean, if it kicks in that far later, something happened. Something went wrong. What happened to me was about an hour and a half later, it kicked in. And this was a 200 milligram gummy. So that kicking in floored me. But I lived. I mean, I tried to throw up to come down really quick. I tried just drinking more water, looked for some carbs, took care of everything that I could. I mean, nothing has been wrong since, but I got way too stoned in New Mexico. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you've liked it, you know what to do. I mean, so far we're building an army, and we're going to keep building an army until we build a community. Once we build a community, we can start to change the world. Keep coming on this adventure with me. I appreciate it. Until the next one, stay high. I'm Shaggy Nugs. Peace out.